Welcome to Roundtable, a community-focused initiative of Titan Radio and the faculty and students of the Broadcast Communication program at Westminster College. You're an important part of this dialogue. As you listen today, send us your thoughts on this show or ideas for future shows by calling our newsline at 724-946-6397. Send us a direct comment using the shout-out feature on the free Titan Radio mobile app. Email us at titanradio@westminster.edu or drop us a comment on our Facebook, Twitter, X, or Instagram pages. And now, here's today's discussion on Roundtable.
Hello, and welcome to Roundtable on Titan Radio. I'm Stephan Gibson. Each week on this program, we talk with community leaders who make an impact right here in New Wilmington and throughout our region. My guest today is Maggie Noble, one of the owners of the Tavern on the Square in New Wilmington. In this conversation, we'll learn more about the history of the Tavern on the Square, how we got here, why it's such a cool project. We'll talk about attention to detail and how this establishment does all that it can for its guests. Hi, Maggie. How are you doing?
I'm great, Stephen. How are you?
I'm doing really good. So before we get into the meat of everything, why don't you give us a Tavern 101 class? What is the Tavern on the Square? Where did it get its start? Who is Matthew Noble? And how did we all get here?
How did we all get here? Let's go way back. I'll answer the question 2A. That's Matt Noble is my husband.
Very good.
And he is my he's my co-worker, co-owner, and head honcho at the Tavern on the Square. And Tavern 101, how did we get here? I'm going to just rewind and we'll go back to 1849, all the way back. It is 108 North Market Street, which is that big white Greek Revival building here in your community, your college-adopted community, is the Tavern on the Square. And it was built by an abolitionist country doctor, Jim Pepino. He was originally from New York, went to Case Western, got a residency here in this little country town. Yeah. And he was working with this community, with the doctor he was working with, that was new to the area. The Amish had been working their way west. And I think you're going to have to check with your history professors, but I think we're a little pre-Great Awakening in America. Sure. But the Amish are here going strong. I think that they are like, they led the charge, really. They started the trend on shaking up Christianity, I think. But their interpretation, what they were doing here, is similar to what their approach is today, only back then in the 1850s, the discrepancies, the differences between how the Amish lived and how the English live would have been a little less obvious. But they were already shunning new technologies and frivolities. And that appealed to Jim Pepino, who was also a Presbyterian. Yeah. And around the same time, the Presbyterian Church at large in this region, in Pittsburgh, the region, was looking for another campus. And there were several options in Pennsylvania. New Wilmington was one of them. New Wilmington got the campus. And here we are sitting at that campus today, Westminster College. So around the same time as Dr. Pepino's building, the 108 North Market Street, his home, this college is coming up. And this is still a quiet town at this point. Yeah. But big things were happening. There was something happening here. And so the doctor built this home. The little building to the right, as you're looking at it, was his practice. It's where he saw his patients, and his office was there too. It's currently our office is upstairs, and our little country store, Mercantile 1931, is downstairs. So that's the origin story of the tavern. That's how the building was built, and its function for about 40 years, I believe. The Pepino family owned it for quite a while, past the time that Jim and his wife and his children lived there. And they moved, though. So they moved to Minnesota. They own this building. And in 1931, a young lady named Cora DeRast and her fiance, Ernst, are enrolled here at Westminster College. One of them graduates before the other. I forget which one. But the very industrious graduate decides to stay busy while the other one's finishing up and opens up a restaurant. It was not at 108 North Market Street. It was actually closer to where our community park is, right across the street from your campus. And that was the Tavern on the Square. Stephen, You're young, but you're smart. So you know that 1931 is about 7 years into Prohibition.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember COVID, that was what, like, I don't know, 3 years?
Yeah.
We're 7 years into Prohibition when they open up a tavern. And taverns in America are known for it's a place to sleep, probably in the same bed as another traveler.
Yeah.
And whatever the housekeeper made for dinner is what you get, but you are definitely going to have an ale.
Yeah.
You're going to have a beer there, probably their own brew.
Yep.
So Cora and Ernst would have known that for sure, being born in 1910 or whatever. And so they opened up this tavern. It was a little bit cheeky, quite honestly. But it did well, so well, in fact, that they decided to dedicate their efforts together towards this, and they became restaurateurs right out of college, and they needed a new space. So they started renting from the Pepino family in Minnesota.
Yeah. Wow.
And then eventually in the 1940s, they bought the building. And so the tavern has been the tavern since 1931,
Yeah. Wow.
North Market Street. And that's why we call our little mercantile shop Mercantile 1931. Yeah, it's a cool year. It's
all makes sense now.
brassy.
So that's the history of the tavern, the building,
In
you
a
know.
nutshell.
Yeah, in a nutshell. What is your history with the tavern?
Man, it feels like maybe I'm a narcissist, but it feels as complicated to me as the layer cake of the tavern. But when I was your age, I was at Chatham University, and I was studying communications, and wrapping up my studies there, I somehow got into environmentalism, which sounds like a joke to you all now, because it's like we weren't talking about that stuff back then, not that much, you know. Like, what do we do with all these water bottles and your paper that we're printing? So I started to get into that a little bit. Had a bunch of internships. I worked for 91.3 WYEP down in Pittsburgh. I've worn these headphones before. So I had a bunch of internships, Pittsburgh Pirates, like really cool opportunities. But the one that left such a mark on me was I worked for the Green Building Alliance on the South Side. And I just did some graphics, some design work for them, because just like you guys know how to do stuff old people don't know how to do. I was just one step ahead. Anyway, so I got into their library and started reading. And I started to think, okay, you know, a way you can impact or you can change is turn off your lights, be careful about water usage, be conscious about what you're buying, and ask yourself if it's a want or a need.
Yeah.
And then also, what are we eating? That just occurred to me, that like what we're eating, what are we putting into our bodies, and how are we growing it? That must be as important as all these printers and light bulbs and all these things. So
Certainly.
From there, I just started to think about food at that point, and I hit a standstill. I graduated. I worked at a restaurant, and I went down to Baltimore. My sister was teaching down there. And that's my first experience with food. My real first experience was I was a dishwasher from 1/5 to 15. But my real experience with food was I was a server at a good restaurant in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then I also felt like, what do I do with this education that I got? I don't know what to do with it. And I was looking through a New Yorker magazine. I don't even know if they print those anymore, but I was flipping through a New Yorker, and I saw a little ad in the corner, and it said, come study with us. And it was for Harvard. And I was like, what? And it was summer school.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'll never get into Harvard, but I might get into Harvard summer school.
Yeah.
And it was at the Graduate School of Design for Landscape Architecture. And I applied. And my essay was about how I chased down the recyclers in my community, because I didn't believe they were really recycling, Steve. And I think that they were making us pay for it, and I think they were dumping it in a landfill. And then I think I proved right, because the guy called me and threatened me. And I thought, okay, that's it. I'm right.
That's good.
Anyway,
That's
Harvard liked it. And I ended up going up there. I sailed up there with my sister. She was a teacher on a sailing vessel. I sailed up the Delaware Bay and all the way to Maine, and came down and went to Harvard for the summer and stayed in the law dorms, and it was really cool, and studied landscape architecture, and all these cool people from all over the country were there. And we'd get together after design time, or what a class is, I guess. And we were broke and couldn't go to restaurants, so they would go to a market, and they'd pick up these like beautiful breads, ciabatta. I didn't know how to say ciabatta. I didn't know what that was. Somebody put arugula on a slice of ciabatta, whacked a little bit of olive oil, and put some sea salt and lemon juice on it. And that's what we ate. And I was 21, so we had a glass of wine. And I thought it was the most sophisticated moment of my life. I thought, what is this? I didn't know lettuce could be anything but iceberg. Yeah. So the food thing really took off for me there. I was in the landscape architecture program. It was just to see, like, hey, are you Harvard material? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be a landscape architect? The answer was no to both of those things. But I learned so much. And so from there, I thought, okay, I'm into food. I want to know more about food. Yeah. And so I got a job on an organic farm in South Carolina. And I was a picker, like a sower and a picker. But it was an organic farm, so it was cool. But the mosquitoes still bite. Hippies. So I was out there with like mosquito nets picking okra and it was tough work, but I really grew an appreciation, so to speak, for food production. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Yeah. And I'm going to say something controversial, but you kids don't care because your mom and dad, I hope, will take you to the tavern and you don't have to pay. But it's expensive. But guys, it's expensive for a reason. Every meeting we have, we're like, how can we shave costs? Because we're not making money at this. We're spending everything that you pay us for spending on labor, because we pay fair wages, and food. Because it's expensive if you buy it right. If you buy food that people are growing intentionally, it costs more. Mm-hmm. So I learned that then, and from there I thought I was harvesting these vegetables, taking them to these beautiful restaurants in Charleston and like wooden crates, and they were just gorgeous. And I'd say to these very intimidating people in white coats, who look like surgeons. I said, what do you do with this stuff? And they're looking at this particular leaf, and they said, we turn it into a sauce. And I was like, that's like somebody asking me to build a rocket ship and fly to Mars. Like, I don't know how to do that. How do you turn a leaf into a sauce? Yeah. So I thought, boy, I need to learn how to cook. That's my next move. I need to learn how to cook this stuff. And then I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn how to do that. And then I'm going to go back to where I grew up and teach that kid that there's more lettuce than iceberg out there. So I went out to Napa, California, and I went to cooking school out there. I went there. There's a great cooking school there called the Culinary Institute of America. I didn't go there because it was $60,000 at the time in 2 years. And I went to college already. My ship sailed. I went to Harvard Summer School. It was over for me. So I went to a great, great college called Napa Valley Cooking School. Mm-hmm. And it was an accelerated program, and it just so happened to be run. The husband and wife team thing is real. The director of the Culinary Institute of America in California is a man named Adam Busby. He's a master chef. He's incredible. Wow. His wife, who is just as incredible, if not, we'll see who says more so. Sure, yeah. She ran our cooking school. Oh, wow. Oh, she was just an amazing, amazing woman, incredible tour de force. She currently travels the world teaching people how to improve their restaurant offerings and bake. She's incredible. Anyway, so she was our instructor there. And the first day of the program, I said to myself, I've got blinders on. I am going to be the top of my class. Sure. I am going to kick butt at this, and no one's going to distract me. Mm-hmm. And Matt Noble was sitting 6 seats away. He got you. Stephen, he distracted me so much. But I still ended up top of my class. Yeah, hey. So that's my big story. And then that's like chapters 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how'd you get from here? I grew up here. Mm-hmm. So we got married. We had kids and couldn't afford California anymore. So we came back this way. And we were living in a place called Swickley, which is an hour south of here. And quickly realized we're getting priced out of that area. So we found a gorgeous old home up here in this town called New Wilmington that I'd never heard of. Yeah. And Matt has in his back pocket, he's a contractor. He contracted his way through college at San Francisco State. And that's how he supported our family when we first moved back here. So we bought this old house and we thought, we'll just live here. He'll be a contractor in Swickley. I'm going to mom and I'll start a food blog. Sure. And we'll be in a 10-year house remodel. Maybe we'll flip it or something. Mm-hmm. And then the tavern happened to us. And here I am today in a 15-year house remodel. But so the tavern was open when we moved here. They'd just gotten their liquor license. Okay. So no bar, but these nice like family tables upstairs and downstairs in this little restaurant. And you could get a bottle of Barefoot wine or Yingling and have a cheeseburger, and that was good enough for us. I was fine.
Yeah.
And then a few months after we moved here, they closed their doors. And it wasn't just we're closed. The owners put a sign, not even laminated, but in a plastic sleeve that said permanently closed.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of like a, permanently, but Matt is, he is you challenge that guy, he rises to it. And I didn't see it as a challenge. I just saw it as a bummer.
Sure.
But Matt's like, permanently closed, you say?
We'll see about that.
Yeah, and there's that. So I started whining. I saw Talbot's has a full parking lot. Iron Bridge has a full parking lot. I think the customer's there, Matt. Why don't we have a restaurant? And finally he said, well, let's do something about it. I thought, what? You're a contractor and we're both chefs. What are you what are you talking about? He said, isn't that a pretty good combo? Oh, crap, it is. So anyway, we dove in, and it took 2 years, Stephen, and a lot more money than we thought, but we've had some really fantastic support, both from family and the community. Yeah. And thank you most of all. I'm going to flash forward to the customer. We could not do this without you.
Yeah, certainly.
It's missional. You go in, it's so expensive, but it's like, my goodness, guys, it's not going into our pockets. Yeah. It's just going into this building. Eventually, hopefully, we figure it out, and you see me driving around in a Range Rover. But as long as I'm in the car, it's not going to us. It's going into the tavern. And our goal, Stephen, was to give it 100 more years. Yeah. And I'm, here we are at year 1.
Year 1, yeah, 1 of 100.
Yeah.
So, Maggie, did you feel ready to start this?
No.
No, not at all.
No. So I'm a mom. Oldest is 10. So when she was supposed to start preschool, I thought, yay, we'll move to this little town. There's this adorable little preschool right down the street from me. We'll walk. And it was closed because of the pandemic. Yeah. So I ended up homeschooling. And then I had another baby, and I started homeschooling them too. Yeah. And I became a homeschool mom. And so Matt wanted to do this crazy freaking project. And I'm like, I've got 3 little kids, and they're all less than 2nd grade, bro. I'm trying to teach people how to read.
Yeah, hey.
In our house, I'm living with like pipes exposed. When we first moved here, we showered outside in the dark. No one was looking because we didn't have a bathroom. Yeah. It was like that kind of remodel.
I see.
It's really beautiful now, I have to tell you. So I was not ready at all. I was very resistant. So when he said, let's open this restaurant, I said, I thought we talked about this. And I said, I want to see our kids. I want to be around our kids. And he said, what are we teaching them, though? Are we teaching them that it's like you see problems, you identify problems, and you don't do anything about it? I thought, shoot. So, no, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for this project. You can look back, and if you have that kind of, whether it's your faith or whether it's just some, like, quiet moment for you that you like to pause and look back and say, like, okay, I see. This, my dad always used to say to me with all my ping-ponging around, I've lived a lot of places, and I've traveled a lot before I got married. That's why I have kids and I'm old. But he said, it's all going to make sense someday. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here next to you, Stephen. And I'm like, whoa, it did. All that crazy stuff I did. It's like all part of that. Like, it does now because of this project that I was not ready for at all. Wow. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good encouragement for our listeners.
Yeah.
So that was the history of, the tavern, of you, how you came to where we are now. But moving forward to here, in the thick of it, year 1. Yeah. While you're running this restaurant, a little behind the scenes, I actually am employed at the tavern.
I didn't know if we were going to talk about that.
It's fine.
I know you. I know you.
Yeah, I know her. But what I notice about the tavern is always that we're focused on details. Always, always attention to detail. Maggie, why do details matter so much?
Well, the easy answer is because I notice them. Like my monkey answer is because I notice the details, so they matter because I do. Yeah. But I'd like to think if I notice them, so does the guest. And ultimately it goes back to respect. And it's a sign of respect. If you sweat the small stuff, if you look into those details, we don't always get it perfect because it's so many moving parts. We had 400 covers come through on Saturday. Yeah. And you're going to have slip-ups, or you're going to have toilet paper on the floor because you don't get to it every time. Or, a soup goes cold on the pass. So and that stuff I try not to lose sleep over it because otherwise I'll never sleep again. Yeah. But the goal is to notice it before our guest does, because we are asking a lot of you. Now, if we were serving cheese dogs in a basket with French fries, I'd still care, because that's just like what I'm made up of, and Matt too. But we are asking a lot of our guests. We're asking a lot of them to drive over an hour to come join us. We need them to. We're asking every guest who comes to the door to value what we value. And so we need to show them respect in every way that we can. Yeah. So that's why.
The more I talk to you, I'm noticing, and I've noticed this about you just being around you, that you are a very, I don't want to say intense, ambitious. Not intense. That sounds
intense is real. Ask my kid.
But no, a very ambitious person. And it's admirable. So, Maggie, what is driving you to be so ambitious?
I know. It's like I'm not ambitious, which is weird, because I was super happy with being a homeschool mom, living with like plastic up around my bathroom. It's because here's why. It's because I see it. I see the potential.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, if I hear that somebody goes off the rails, which we hear a lot in this industry, you hire so many people and a lot of them are just getting by. And that's why they'll do the hard work of restaurant work. And you hear, okay, they went off the rails. And it just breaks your heart, because you see the potential. And this community, I guess, is like a living thing to me. It's a place with so much potential. And then what I tell the kids and what Matt and I often talk about at home is, so I grew up in Swickley. If you guys ever get a chance to get down to Swickley, it's worth it. It's a very cool town. But when I was growing up, it was still blue blood, and there was a lot of money there always. Since the Beaver Trail, there's been a lot of money in that town. But when I was growing up, it was a little bit more low-key. And now it's super posh. My ambition is not to make New Wilmington what Swickley is, or even what Swickley was. It has more to do with Newcastle, Stephen, if I may. What I'm seeing is there's real abject poverty 20 minutes down the street from us. There are people surviving, not even close to thriving, children who are starving. And what can the Tavern do about that? I'd say, I don't know yet, but I'd say yet, you know? And that's why we got to learn how to save our coins and figure out how to make more money so we can pay people right, always pay people right, always pay the right farmers for doing the right thing. And then I feel like if this thing prospers, we plan to send it out. And it's not just like, here's money, Newcastle, but it's like, I don't know, here's opportunity. And here's a place worth coming to. And I know people see it. We've had people come and visit us, and then they buy a house up here because they think it's so cool. And that helps property value. And money doesn't fix things, but it doesn't always hurt things either. So I don't know I don't know. That's why I'm ambitious, though. It's not even for my kids, because I want my kids to do what they want to do. I just want them to work hard and stay interested. That's all I want from my kids. And if it's at the Tavern, that's great. But it's more for like, we have something so special here. And the building was on the brink of destruction, on the brink of tear down. And when I think about that right now, I think, what would have happened to this community if that legend was actually torn down? I don't want to think about it.
Definitely. Actually, this was a question I had written down. I was going to ask you, why is the history of the Tavern so important to you? But that really just... that covers it all, you know, this deep desire to not see this legend go down, to not let this all go to waste. So kind of a hard left turn here, but Maggie, could you tell us a little bit about the Tavern Way and what that has to do?
I wish I brought my hand by. Stephen, can you tell me about the Tavern Way? The Tavern Way. So I put up, here's the Tavern Way. I put up a little poem. English professors, please tell me if it's not a limerick. It's a little rhyme. And this is the Tavern Way in a nutshell. Okay. See a French fry, pick it up all day long. You'll have good luck. That's the Tavern Way is see something, do something. And that doesn't mean that we don't like to delegate, because I'm really learning in this first year of being a boss that it's like, if you do it all, you'll find that you can't. You'll fail. So you have to be able to communicate and delegate. But hopefully you're communicating and delegating to like-minded people who are, it's like, you ask them to do something so basic as there's a piece of trash on the floor. that someone could slip on or the customer could see that's disrespectful, hopefully if everybody around you is like-minded, it's already picked up.
Yeah.
And then you can move on to more important things. So the Tavern way is ultimately, it's about respect. It goes back down to respect. Respect yourself, respect your coworker, respect the guest, respect the product, respect the building. And that's the Tavern way.
That is the Tavern way.
Yeah.
Well, as we're about to wrap up, can you share any big plans that you have coming up for the Tavern? Any new ideas?
Oh, yeah, we got ideas. I don't know. What should I say? So this would be, we want to hear your thoughts on this. I hope you guys are into this. When you come downstairs, we have this cool old blue truck out back. His name's Dodger. And right by Dodger, you'll see these 3 big windows. And they're not windows yet. They're plywood, but they're going to be windows because we're hoping to open up the backdoor kitchen at the Tavern.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, hopefully next summer, but we'll see because we're already behind on the build out, but that's never stopped us before.
Yeah.
But what we're looking for is like a shakes, fries, burgers, like smash burgers and maybe a salad. So fast bag food, and you think, okay, there she goes with her Wendy's concept. But what it is hopefully we can have people enjoy the Tavern at a different price point with different clothes on, with your flip-flops on or whatever. And it's still going to be quality stuff, Stephen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be a smaller size burger, but it's still going to be good meat. And that's the goal. And we are really hoping that the Tavern, the backdoor kitchen, will help our efforts in the Tavern to maintain like these crazy high standards for what we bring in, the food we bring in. Because right now it's not a very good business model. The food we're buying is too expensive and we can't charge you anymore. So we're kind of hoping that business will support our green efforts in the Tavern.
Yeah, definitely. So listeners, you have that to look forward to.
Yes.
Coming up.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up, do you want to plug anything? I know we have a website. We have some social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's plug away. So we're the tavernonthesquare.com. There are 2 thes in that name, believe it or not, as our website. We have really fun social media, Tavern New Wilmington on Instagram and Facebook. And I've got my own little little one. It's Maggie Noble Stories, and it's like a behind the scenes. And then lastly, hopefully, Stephen, you'll join me. You've been on live before, and you were a champ. So when we're about to drop this episode, we go live on Instagram. I didn't even know what that was 3 months ago, but now we do it once a week at 7:00, the worst time in the world for restaurant people to go live. We do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And so tune in at 7:00 on the Insta on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, anything you'd like to say before we finish up that you haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I would like to say something. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to live in a town with this beautiful campus, these great students who are incredibly mature and with really great manners. I live across from a frat house and you barely hear a peep. But I'm really impressed by all the professors and the administrators and the presidents that I get to meet at this school. And it feels like a college that I feel like alum, and I didn't even go here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking with Maggie Noble, owner of New Wilmington's Tavern on the Square. Maggie, thank you for talking with us.
Stephen, thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners. I'm Stephan Gibson.
This has been Roundtable, a community-focused initiative of Titan Radio and produced by the faculty and students of the Broadcast Communications program at Westminster College. You're an important part of this dialogue. Send us your thoughts on this show or ideas for future shows by calling our newsline at 724-946-6397. Send us a direct comment using the shout-out feature on the free Titan Radio mobile app. Email us at titanradio@westminster.edu or drop us a comment on our Facebook, Twitter, X, or Instagram pages. Join us again next week for Roundtable. You're on Titan Radio and TitanRadioLive.com.